Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And the big thing that we were all waiting for this week was Hobby Next Phase 2022 Winter Edition, where we were going to get the news for all of the latest and greatest Gundam model kits, which are also up for pre-order on Hobby Link Japan, so if you want any of these, they are also linked down below. And by using those links, you will also be directly supporting the channel. Now, the only unfortunate thing though, is that it didn't really live up to my expectations, and I don't think that I'm the only one here. The craziest announcement was that the high-grade Guncannon Cucuruz Doan's Island version is going to be releasing as a regular edition.
Say what?
Now, it is good that we're getting the thing as a not Bandai kit, but somehow the main mobile suits, like the RX-78 itself, Doan Zaku, you know, the thing that was piloted by the guy that the movie was named after, Slager's Gym and whatnot, they were all Bandais. And yet somehow, the Guncannons are graced with a not Bandai model kit. Why? At 2,530 yen, 19 US, it is somewhat on the more expensive side, but then again, the Origin kits do tend to be more expensive by default, and we do also get the option of making it either as Hayato's or Kai's unit, thanks to the 2 included backpacks and the marking stickers. So, definitely a surprising, somewhat nonsensical, but cool announcement. And talking about surprises, Gunpla-Kun is back, this time with a deluxe set. The 1:1 scale Gunpla-Kun DX set with runner version recreation parts. Just like the Gunpla-Kun kit that was given with that one magazine a while back, this kit is made out of the eco-friendlier material Limex. But this time, it is actually molded in color, just like we are used to with normal plastic Gundam model kits. And in addition to a stand, it also comes with a special runner to allow you to recreate how Gunpla-Kun first appeared in his miniseries. And for 1,100 yen, 8 US, he comes with a beam rifle, a beam saber, and shield. And while this is a cute announcement, I don't think this is what we were really waiting for. Instead, what I think a lot of us were waiting for were new Witch from Mercury releases, and this is definitely where they delivered on. Except if you were hoping for a Master Grade. But then again, Master Grade fans have gotten used to being ignored over the past few years, just like us high-grade Universal Century folks. And Bandais don't count. Anyways, Witch from Mercury. First up, the April releases. We're getting another Dilanza, the Dilanza Sol, a unit that appears to be a chonky alternate universe version of the GFuel. Because not only is it almost the identical color, but it was even seen quelling a protest, something that the GFuel was specifically designed for. And based on the differences, it definitely looks like a souped up Spec Ops version of the Dilanza. The back skirt now has extra thrusters, the backpack has missile launchers, the head has somewhat reinforced armor instead of an antenna, the shoulders look meaner, and it now has a bigger gun with beam bayonet. And since it looks like it's still using the same connection to hook up to the shoulders, I think the bayonet effect part might also work on the regular Dilanza's beam rifle, or if you buy 2, you might even be able to apply it to both sides. And all of this can be yours for 1,760 yen, 14 US, which is the same price as the other April release, the high-grade Zowort Heavy. As the name implies, this is a heavy-duty version of the regular Zowort, but with a darker color scheme, heavier gun, and instead of a backpack focusing on thrust, a backpack focusing on firepower. It now has a powerful beam cannon and missile launchers that can open up. That's a really cool feature. And of course, just like the regular Zowort, it can be hooked up to the TIG Ballon. So this is definitely looking like a sweet kit. Then in May we get yet another not GFuel, the high-grade Heindree Sturm, for another 1,760 yen, 14 US. This kit comes complete with its new shield, big beam rifle, beam cannon on the back, a beam saber, and a new thruster unit for on the back skirt. And I really like the fact that the shield can now flip forwards as well. And now we get to the gunplas of the machines that we haven't seen so far in the anime. There is the high-grade Demi Barding for 2,090 yen, 16 US, and I couldn't have been the only one who immediately thought, hey, looks like Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer got an upgrade. Because all of the basic elements are there. It's got a high-performance backpack aided by leg-mounted thrusters for hit-and-run tactics, it's got the roller blades, a powerful beam rifle, and a head that's made for sniping. I mean, there's even a secondary head on the backpack. However, the second thing that I then thought about was that maybe this is the machine that they kinda modeled Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer after. So rather than an upgrade, Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer could just be a budget Demi Barding. But whatever the case might be, I want one, and I want to see Choo-Choo piloting one. Or it, if it's a custom unit. Also, it comes with 2 beam sabers that are stored in those leg thrusters. Moving on to June then, we get another 2 releases. Number 1 being the Gundam Schwarzette for 2,090 yens, 16 US, and this is definitely an interesting unit to speculate about, because there's no way that it is not related to the Daryl Baldy, and yet, it's a Gundam. So, did Jeturk get their hands on Gundam technology, or did someone get their hands on whatever remained of the Daryl Baldy and then put some Gundam in there? It could be a Jeturk machine, but it would also be cool if this unit was somehow Bob's Gundam. Only time will tell, but what I can already tell you is that it comes with a giant sword that can also be mounted on the back skirt. And then number 2 is the Witch from Mercury new product for 1,540 yen, 12 US. It comes with a small beam rifle that can be attached to the legs and a shield with a peg that looks like it's on a sliding rack and can also store 2 extra magazines for the beam rifle and 2 beam sabers. I am absolutely loving everything about this kit. From the accessories to the mobile suit itself, the design, and the price. As for what it could be though, the chin guard and the front skirts look identical to the Lefrith Ur, so I think there might be a good chance that this thing is somehow related to the Lefrith and some kind of development of it, or like maybe a simplified mass production version but without the Gund arm system. Or it could also be that those front skirts and chin guard are just like standard parts that the group who made the Lefrith Ur has, and that this new machine is just made by them with some of those standard parts without any actual relation to the Lefrith itself. But again, only time will tell. Also, am I the only one who thinks that this thing looks a lot like those non-Gundams you'll sometimes see in advertising material of companies like Kotobukiya when they're trying to advertise something that works with their stuff, but also with Gundam model kits or Gundam action figures? And then finally we got the details for the previously announced SD Gundam Cross Silhouette Tornado Gundam. At 1,760 yen, 14 US, it is pretty expensive for an SD, but it does come with two different frames to give it two very different looks. There's the SD frame for a more standard SD look, and then there's the CS frame to give it a bigger, leaner look. And on top of that, it also comes with a beam rifle, two beam sabers that can be combined, two Gatling guns, and extra hands, so overall not too bad. But unfortunately, that was everything. The Witch from Mercury announcements definitely did what they had to, both in quality and quantity, but other than that, I mean, nothing new for the mainline Universal Century, nothing new for Gundam Seed, despite it being the series' 20th anniversary, no new Master Grade, no new Real Grade. I really think an impressive Master Grade or Real Grade would have gone a long way to spice this announcement up, even if it was just a really obscure teaser. But on to the figure front then, where the biggest announcements were some China limited QMSV figures. There is the regular QMSV Rabbit Gundam, which goes for 399 yuan, 57 US, and is slated for a January release. And there's the QMSV Mini Zodiac Collection. The figures go for 79 yuan a pop, 12 US, and consist of the 5 Zodiac Gundams that have been released so far, 4 special Spring Festival colors, which is basically like a golden version, and then 1 secret version, which I'm assuming is going to be the Rapid Gundam. Then it was announced that the Banpresto prize figures of 4 and Miorine will be hitting arcades in March and April respectively, and as I said last week, the Miorine and Suletta gacha portraits went up for pre-order on the 19th. And continuing with the Witch from Mercury news. If you watched the latest episode all the way to the end, you should have seen this adorable end card. And if you thought to yourself, shut up and take my money, well then I've got some good news for you. These designs of Nika, Suletta, Miorine, Chuchu, GFuel, Elan, and Shadiq were shown off, and will be sold under something called the Mechagurumi series, which I'm fairly certain is a portmanteau of Mecha and Nuigurumi, the Japanese word for stuffed animal. Now, at first I thought that this new merch was just going to be like an acrylic stand or a keychain, but when I saw that this new series was going to be called Mechagurumi, I immediately got an image of like Witch from Mercury themed desktop army. But whatever these things might end up being, they will be released, with more information coming later. And in other news, the Gunpla idol group Linkl Planet will have their first live event on the 27th, the SD Gundam World Heroes Gaiden illustration of Dragon Knight has received a new illustration, the folks of Dengeki Hobby have released some new advanced Rosetta designs, this time focusing on the Hazensley 2 and the Rehaze. For the big fans of the Origin new type anime market, which I will have linked down below, is selling the Origin art for 33,000 yen a pop, 250 US. Yoshiyuki Tomino appeared at the Anime Tourism Association's 88 Sacred Anime Places to Visit presentation, and the results were announced for the 10th Gunpla Builders World Cup, with some mighty impressive winning works. So I'll have the link to the Gundam info article linked down below, so you can check them out in all of their glory. In the gaming news then, I want to start with something that kinda blew my mind this week. A long time ago, I talked about the then new pachinko machine, P-Fever Gundam Unicorn, which is still one of the best names ever. And now, the game is coming to the online platform 777 Town. But the funniest thing here is that there will be special in-game items for paying members. So apparently, even pachinko machines are now coming with a subscription service. They also tout how you can play as much as you want for 24/7. I mean, yeah, you're a not gambling service, so why would you want to stop people from spending money on your service? Just like Namco doesn't want you to stop spending money on their games with a huge digital winter sale for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Switch. It includes games like Code Fairy, Extreme vs. Maxi Boost On, SD Gundam G Generation Cross Race, and Super Robot Wars 30. Or you can play their other games like Gundam Battle Operation 2, where the Jesta Shazar type Team A joins the hunt, or Gundam Breaker Mobile, where the multi-mission Awakening Calamity became available, as well as the End of Year Appreciation Festival, where you can get a bunch of premium tickets as well as other things. On to the physical items then that you could get this week. On the 19th, the third lineup of the popular Gundam Artifact line was rolled out, featuring another amazing selection of tiny but highly detailed resin-esque model kits. There is the Gu Fly type, Zeta Gundam, Starkjagen, Cublay, and 00 Riser. Their standard color is pale orange, again to give them that resin-esque feel, but you can also get a rare fluorescent pink version. And they go for 550 yen each for US. Also on Monday then, the Ultimate Luminous new Gundam started popping up in gachapon machines across Japan, and for 500 yen a spin for US, you can get either a new Gundam with beam rifle, new Gundam with bazooka, a hangar with lighting unit, or a damaged building with a lighting unit. One day later then, the Gundam X GFuel collaboration went up for sale and sold out very quickly. This collector set consisted of a Gundam and Char's Zaku bottle and a tub of Earth Federation's secret melon ramune powder for $59.99. On Wednesday, the Witch from Mercury became available in crane machines across Japan, and finally, in late December, the Gundam Guy's Generation Paptimus Scirocco goes up for sale for 18,480 yen, 140 US. So, around this time, you should see popping him up in various stores. And for that price, you can either display him with his arms folded or with one arm up for a more intelligent pose. As for this week's reading material then, there was the Winter 2022 edition of Great Mechanics G, featuring an interview with Jin Ted about how he designed the Witch from Mercury machines, the SD Gundam SD Command Series and Gundlander Memorial Book, and finally the first volume of Gundam Rust Horizon went up for sale, which is apparently Shueisha's first full-on military X-Gundam manga. And with that, it is already time to have a look at this week's Gundam apparel. On last week Friday, Strict G decided to drop 3 new collections. The first one, in celebration of Gundam Seed's 20th anniversary, focuses on the ending of Gundam Seed and is named after the final episode, To a Future That Never Ends, and it features a bunch of apparel with images either from the episode or themed after the Le Creuset team or Archangel team. There's a white Kira, black Atheron or burgundy Kigali t-shirt for 4,730 yen, 37 US, a big size t-shirt featuring all 3 images in either black or white for 5,280 yen, 39 US, a long sleeve t-shirt with either Archangel or Le Creuset theme for 5,830 and 43 US, a grey Kira, black Atheron or burgundy Kigali t-shirt for 9,790 and 72 US, a Klein Faction tote bag with Haro keychain for 4,400 yen, 32 US, and an Orb medallion keychain for 2,530 yen, 19 US. And next up are 2 collaborations. One is with Yokohama Hanpu Kaban and features either a fancy Xeon or Federation tote bag for 15,400 yen, which is around 120 US. And the other one is with Miyata Textiles and features 3 types of Hanten, a traditional Japanese winter coat for 21,450 yen a pop, and I again forgot to write down the conversion rate, so I'm gonna guess around 150 US. The available designs are the New Gundam, Sazabi, and Xi Gundam, and all three of them are done really nicely in a traditional Japanese art style. And on the same day, Banpresto kicked things off with pre-orders for the Zeon and Char personal mark apparel and miscellaneous item collection. There's a hooded jacket for 19,800 yen, 145 US, a muffler for 7,700 yen, 56 US, a hoodie for 7,700 yen, 56 US, and a tote bag for 3,960 yen, 29 US. And as the name indicated, they are all available in either a Principality of Zeon design or a Char Aznable design, and they're scheduled for a February release. Then on Monday, we got some more Psycho Gundam and Psycho Gundam Mark II stuff. After the big t-shirts, you can now also get the design on either a mug for 3,850 yen, 29 US, and a big cushion for 4,950 yen each, 38 US. And all of these things will be floating your way in March. And then finally on Monday, there were also a bunch of smartphone goods released. You can get an iPhone SE 3rd or 2nd Gen 8, 7 or 6S hybrid glass case with either the original Gundam, Charzaku, Zeta Gundam, Hyakushiki, New Gundam or Sazabi for 3,608 yen a piece, 27 US, and for that same price you can get a hybrid glass case with camera cover with the same designs for the iPhone 14, 14 Pro, 13, 13 Pro, and 12 Pro. Then there's an acrylic stand for 2,178 yen, 17 US, with either the original Gundam, Char's various one-year war machines, Zeta Gundam, and Char's counterattack designs. And finally, there's a smartphone holder thingy for 2,068 yen, 16 US, and the available designs are the Earth Federation Space Forces, Principality of Zeon, Gundam Activating, Ayuk, Titans, Anaheim Electronics, Amuro, Neo Zeon, and Londo Bell. So as always, let's wrap up this week's Gundam news with some polls. A few weeks ago, Gundam.info wanted to know which machine from Char's counterattack we'd like to see as the next ultimate Luminous Gachapon figure. And well, the results were very decisive. 49.8%, which is virtually half of the votes, went to the Sazabi. The obvious and uncontested winner, because, well, when you say New Gundam, you say Sazabi. The only option that I think could have even gotten close, if we're sticking to Char's counterattack machines, is if we go for a little bit of a loophole and go with the Hainu, the alternate universe version of the regular New Gundam. But now, the second place machine is the Riggsy with only 22.6%, the other Amuro machine from Char's counterattack, but it is definitely cool to see this somewhat underappreciated machine still land in second place. In third place then, with 17.6%, is the Alpha Azieru, something that definitely would have made for a nice light-up figure with that mono eye and the Mega Particle Cannon mouth. It just wouldn't have been in scale with the new, but that's not really that big of a problem. And then finally, with 10.3%, there is the Yakdoga in fourth and last place. As for the ongoing one then, the results so far are equally as obvious, but they are much closer, so they can still change a lot, and they maybe even have changed a lot by the time this video goes up. With the upcoming release of the Master Grade Super Deformed Freedom Gundam, they want to know which machine from Seed we would like to see next. And when you say Freedom, you of course say Justice Gundam. And yes, it is in first place, but not with as large a margin as you might think. It's currently got 130 votes, which is really close to the second place, the Strike, with 108 votes, and that thing is only 1 point ahead of the Providence Gundam because I voted for it. So like I said, both are plenty close enough to the Justice Gundam to still overtake the thing. And really, both also have a really good reason for being number one. The Providence Gundam is like the final boss of Gundam Seed, and then the Strike is like kinda the Freedom's predecessor in the sense that it was Kira's previous unit, and it is also just the main Gundam for the first half of Gundam Seed. But then, in a very sad, so far last place, we have the Aegis with only 35 votes. And I think that this can very easily be explained by the fact that the Aegis just doesn't really have anything to do with the Freedom. And I think that if the Strike had been the first Master Grade SD, I think the Aegis would have gotten significantly more votes, because then it would have been like the big rival of the Strike and like the final boss machine in that scenario. But if you want to cast your vote, I will have a link to the poll down below, because like I said, anything can still change. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.